Hello, this is EDC with Oaken and Kane. I am Oaken.
I'm Kane.
And today we are talking about the Microtech Socom Elite. Yes. Microtech Socom Elite, made here in the States, made in America. And we're going to take a little bit closer look and do some stats on this guy. So overall length on that bad boy is 9 inches. And blade length is right at 4 inches.
Good grind on that side. I think it's even on this side.
And what is it? 3.75 inch cutting edge. Pretty nice.
Yep.
Handle thickness is 0.55 inches, so a little over half an inch. And
centered nicely.
And handle length is at 5 inches.
Feels good in the hand. Lock up probably 25-30%. Solid lock up.
And stock thickness, while you're talking about that, is real beefy at 0.19 inch. So real burly.
Real burly. I like how they use the thumb studs for the external stop pins. Makes it where this thing is not moving anywhere. Yeah, rock solid.
Really adds to side to side play and rigidity.
Drops shut nicely.
Oh, and weight on that is 5.36 ounces, which I'll be honest sounds like a lot. It manages very well. It's surprising, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, definitely feels lighter.
And country of origin on this one, we already said, is USA. So let's plop that guy down and take a look at it with some friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to pull the rug out from under you, but gain some space. Why don't we have those friends hop off the couch and do a little quick...
Since they're close by, some more Microtechs for your viewing pleasure. The stitch on the bottom and the LUDT on top.
And now we're going to get into a lot more common stuff. Opinel number 8.
Put this back, sorry. I'm just playing around. And we have the Spyderco Dragonfly.
A Delica in G10.
Rat Model 1. A little bit bigger than the Rat Model 1. We don't have a Rat Model 2 at this time.
PM2 in S110V.
Here's a Kershaw leak.
Everybody's got a leak or
Everyone has a leak or seen one before.
On that same note, the Tenacious, also real popular, great knife for the money. Yeah.
Some bigger knives, ZTO 562.
Of course, the CRKT poop knife.
ZTO 393.
And this next one is just for a particular viewer, especially Wes. This one is for you. A one-of-a-kind Swanee River Knives patch and a pretty hard-to-find UTX 85 Bounty Hunter. Just a little size comparison.
ZT 0850, same size blade on this one.
And those are a real good comparison because they really have a lot of the same feel, that kind of overbuilt sort of beefy knife, but this guy definitely is a little bit lighter.
Absolutely. And let's do just a Kershaw bare knuckle real quick. I think that's all for now.
We'll do one more just because I think this is a pretty relevant size comparison. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be looking at this option alongside this next comparison, so I feel like it's something that you guys are going to want to see side by side in hand and really kind of know, what should I go for that beefy overbuilt tactical feel.
That's obvious.
So obviously you're going to notice a couple differences. But I mean, all in all, by the end of the video, I think you'll know which one is right for you for your tactical applications.
Absolutely.
So let's take a little bit closer look at the blade. So that is a Saber ground Saber flat grind blade, and this particular one is M390.
204P.
Oh, it is 204p.
Is,
I thought
wow.
that, yeah, so okay.
Interesting. He'd make that mistake on camera.
You know, but hey, now's a good time to talk about the fact that M390, CTS 204p, and CPM 20CV are all virtually the same steel, but a little bit different tweak from each of them.
204p is United States, correct? USA?
Yeah, 204p is made from CTS, which is Carpenter Steels, and that's here in the States. Nice. And that is a nice stonewash finish.
Also comes painted, I believe, DLC coated, especially for the Signature Series, and Apocalyptic, which is a really cool finish. The Apocalyptic is a little bit darker, which is similar to this ZT, which has sort of like a working finish.
I think that's what
you can see here.
So a little bit darker.
A little bit darker.
Next, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the handle on this guy. So that is aluminum scales. I believe 6065 aluminum, or 6061.
6061, yeah.
And has some nice grip tape in there.
Yeah, helps with traction. And it's tactical. No, but really, it does help with your grip. It doesn't have it on this side, the side with pocket clip, so it's easier to slide in and out of the pocket. If you did get the automatic version, this would come with the grip tape on the side just to help you hold the knife when it shoots out with authority.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I believe that is on bearings, and if I'm not mistaken, this was way back in the day, but one of the kind of first knives, one of the first few handful of knives, production knives that is, to have bearings. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the handle handle tapers nicely from the top to the bottom, so it really helps it when you lock it in your hand. No really hot spots. The tip is only tip down carry, which I don't actually mind on this model. It's such a long knife that if you have it in your pocket like this, you pull it out, you definitely have to move your hand up to open it up. Once it's coming out of your pocket from tip down, you pull it out here and your thumb is already there. So I actually, on this model, don't mind it at all.
It sounds like a man just trying to justify his poor decisions, but
absolutely.
No, I'll be honest. I don't mind it in this model as well for the same reasons. When you are dealing with a bigger knife, you actually do have less adjustments coming out of pocket to open to use by having that clip orientation. And then another thing, so it is a liner lock. I'm sure you guys have noticed. Honestly, they do a really good job with theirs. I like it.
It is jimped right here, so it is easy to actuate and get in there for the liner lock. You want to try it out?
And it also stands. Let's see if you can see it kind of stands a little proudly as well from there, so you do have great access to it. You're not having to fight to get that unlocked at all. So real nice. And then absolutely love, I'll pick it back up, there we are, small detail of just those little indentions cut so your thumb studs come back and hit, and like we touched on earlier, add to that side-to-side rigidity. So love that. And so design and execution on this one, well, actually, let's talk a little bit more about ergos. I think we
skipped over ergos. To me, they're fantastic. No real hot spots. I do feel this edge just a little bit if I'm squeezing hard, but good grip whichever way you hold it. And then you can choke up, has jimping here for more finer cuts and draw cuts as well. I think they nailed the ergos with this. It's a soft touch finish on this aluminum handles, which I like. And also a little bit about the hardware. Hardware T20 for the pivot and T8 for the body screws, which I really like. You're not going to strip them, taking it apart, very easy and very common, not like some of these others that you do need the tool to take apart.
Yeah, and like Kane just touched on, I do like that it's non-proprietary screws. But in the same sense, they took it an extra step, and yeah, did even these smaller ones here as T8, which is just really is great and conducive to a knife that you do plan to have for a while, take apart in maintenance. And I'm shaking the table. and so next, carry, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, but I think we might need some help from our pocket simulator if we have it.
Pocket simulator.
And so, although it's not deep carry, you still got a decent amount of it tucked away. I mean, for the size of that knife and for how wide it is right here and up, you do get a decent amount tucked away. And I didn't really have too many issues carrying it. When you go into the pocket, I was worried about hitting this jimping, but really it does jut out enough to where, you know, I skipped right by it and it really wasn't an issue for me. Did you have any carry issues?
No carry issues, and I do like that it tapers down at the bottom, so if you do have stuff in your pockets down here, it sort of gives it more room. If you get past this initial width of the knife, you can actually have more room going in. So no hot spots, wasn't sharp, anything like that. Every once in a while, you would feel this jimping a little bit right here, but honestly, that was very rare. So I actually like the way that it carried.
And then, so design and execution. What do you got for us, Kane?
I think they nailed the design and the execution. When it came to me, it was a little bit tight on the pivot to where it wasn't perfectly centered, and it didn't drop shut. Now I've taken it apart, oiled it, and it just dropped shut like a dream. I think they executed it perfectly, especially now that I took it apart and gave it a little bit of TLC. But no, they did a great job with it. For the size, I love how lightweight it is. It's a huge blade. It's not something you just want to throw out there like at work or something. But, you know, it does feel tactical. But you feel like you can just go and do anything with it. They did well in the handles. I love the colors that they come in. They can come in, you know, bright purple, OD green, black, everything. So
I really like the tan and the OD green ones.
Yeah,
I like those a lot.
I just like that they have so many options for pretty much whatever you want.
And yeah, I mean, to me, as far as design goes, you know, when looking at the knife, this was something that I would have thought would have been more of an issue, the clip orientation. And like we kind of touched on, that really didn't end up being much of a problem for me. I do love that you've got a good spot for your thumb here, good spot for your thumb here. Ergonomically, I really like it. And then even the kind of smaller design side of this glass breaker, which, you know, is probably going to be getting a ton of use. You guys, I'm sure, use your glass breakers daily. But I like that they did still keep that on there to really, you know, fully give it that tactical feel, but they did it in a style that is just a little ceramic or tungsten ball or something in there, so it's not necessarily poking you all day. So I do like that.
It's very easy to take out once you take apart the knife, so I do like that. It's not something that has to be there if you don't want it there.
And what about value? Do you think it's a good value? What are your thoughts on that?
So it is American made. It comes in automatic or manual like this. I do think for the price, it's an amazing knife. It is expensive. It's close to the $300 range. So for me, it was worth it. I think there are cheaper knives that you can get, especially, you know, sort of like this Rat Model 1 that can do, you know, almost just as much of the same stuff, same type of blade, beat the crap out of it. But for me, it was definitely worth it, and it's still not into the range of the Sabenzas, the Hinderer. So it's like a nice in between for, let's say, between like ZT, Hinderer, things like that. Just a nice option to have.
Yeah, personally, I think a lot of the value's there because this is kind of a knife that really does not only have a super thick blade stock, but they did a good job grinding it. I mean, it still cuts for having such a thick blade stock, which there's a lot of companies out there that are not putting that level of attention to detail, and they're giving it a thick stock to give it that tactical feel, but then not compiling that with a good grind, a nice thin grind. So I think they did a really good job with the execution of this, and really packing a lot of good features into it. Now, I know that 290, close to 300 is not for everybody, but when you are kind of looking to possibly step up a little more from, like Kane was saying, the Benchmades and some of the other kind of higher end knives, this is a great one to step into. That I really do think is it's nice. It's got a good feel. They use great materials. Yeah, made here in the States. I would say it's definitely worth it, and a great knife to step to. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. For the price, I would definitely buy it again. And you actually feel like you can use this knife. It's not something where, oh no, it needs to be a safe queen. You know, it has a stonewashed blade. You can get apocalyptic blade, and you really feel like you can beat the crap out of it. So I do like that.
And that kind of plays into something I want to say about this is it's kind of an interesting knife because you have a little bit of exclusivity from it. You also have a little bit of, kind of hard to get, not necessarily a knife that if you just want to go buy it, you can just go buy the model you want. That typically doesn't happen with some of these Microtechs. You do have to do a little bit of hunting, a little bit of searching, and so there is kind of an exclusivity to them that is very nice, but in the same vein, you know that there are going to be more Socoms out there. So it's nice as far as not something that, you're so hesitant to use because there's not going to be more. There's always going to be more Socoms. I think that this is a great selling model for Microtech and something that's going to be around a long time and has already been around a good while. So I definitely think it's a home run. It was something that I enjoyed getting to have come across the couch, and definitely something that I'd like to keep in the living room for a good long while.
Yeah, he'll definitely be here for a while. But we appreciate you coming in and watching this review in our living room, but I think it's time to go home.
You guys have a good one.
See you later.